Sachin. Did I do it right?
Yeah, you did great.
Okay, so I live in fear of these events, not because people won't show up and not because of all the logistics, but because I have the worst enunciation ever. So, Sachin, yes, is Avvo's Chief Product Officer, and he's going to talk tonight about the KPIs for a new legal customer. And he gave me his bio. He started his career at Microsoft, and he was one of the first developers at Expedia. And what I love is that in his spare time, not only is a dad and he cooks and all these things, but he also does sabermetrics, which I don't know what that is, and I will ask him afterwards, and he likes to nap. So, so take it away.
Thank you, thank you. So, kind of shifting gears from the panel talked a lot about KPIs and big law. I put a focus on legal consumer. And one of the things that I always think about with KPIs, it's this hamster wheel. This is me looking at Tableau, spinning in circles, because every time you find a new piece of data, it unleashes another question, which unleashes another piece of data, which is in this endless loop of KPIs. And I'm a data nerd. I love data. I mean, I studied data in college. I'm a econometrics kind of guy. This is what I do, and it still spins in. And so one of the things that I always think about is getting out of the hamster wheel and turning it into a flywheel. How do you turn data into something that's actionable? And one of the biggest ones I go down to is simplifying. And KPIs that are most important to the consumer is asking the consumer this question. It's really just nailing it down to one question, which is how likely are they to recommend you? And if you look at it, 9 and 10s, when they score you, they're effectively a promoter. 0 to 6, they're demoters. This is not something I made up. This is the NPS score. This is the one question you should ask that allows you to grow your business. If you go to the next slide, it basically tells you promoters, percentage promoters, subtracting percentage of detractors equals your NPS. You can be negative 100 if everyone in there is scoring you from 0 to 6. You could be positive 100 if everyone's in the 9s and 10s. The 7s and 8s are passive. Don't count the passives. And so, you know, you get into that net side of about 50 or above, you're doing really well. Your business is growing, people are talking about you, they're promoting you. They're actually leaving reviews for you on Avvo, on Yelp, everywhere else that you can leave reviews. No one leaves reviews on Yelp. But where they leave you reviews, they'll leave you reviews on Avvo. So you go on, and you basically realize that you can basically push this score up, this one number, the one number you should be paying attention and benchmarking and checking every year to see if you can improve it. That's how you'll grow your business. And so the question then is, how do you create promoters? So now I'm going to take a product manager, a UX designer's view of it, and I'm going to show you how to hack it. So the next one is something called the Kano Model. The Kano Model is what, it's been used for years. It's something, I think, maybe, I don't even know, it's like 30 years old, but we use it a lot in the UX community. If you go to the next slide, I can show you what it is. It's basically 2 axes. It tells you features on the x-axis is basically from not implemented at all to fully implemented, and on the y-axis it's level of dissatisfied to satisfied. Anything that's above this creates satisfaction. And so there are a series of features, what we call our fundamentals. No matter how much you improve on these features, you'll never create satisfaction. They're just things that people expect. You have another set of features where more is better. And then the next set of features are your true delighters. A little bit of work goes a long ways in customer satisfaction. If you think about everything you do, the actions you take against NPS, and you put them in these categories, this is how you make your NPS scores grow. So I'll start with the fundamentals. What we've done at Avvo is we've collected a lot of client reviews. We also have our own department of consumer insights that do surveys and focus groups. And we listen a lot to clients, and I read a lot of reviews. This is like my hobby, is reading client reviews. I don't know why, it's just fun. But the fundamentals, I'll tell you what the fundamentals are. Knowledge. Basically, you know, capable of handling a case, and you show up. And the biggest thing, here's it, you can't win for doing this if you look at the slide. These are just avoiding negatives, guys. If you don't do these cause negatives. If you do them, good job. You're getting what you paid for. The next one are the more is better. The more is better, we hear a lot of these, and these are like simple things, and I get it back down to, this is effectively bedside manner, Dan Lear, if you could get back to your job. More is better. Sorry, Dan. I give Dan some. I was supposed to shame him actually today, and I just did. All right. So responsive, being quick to respond to emails and phone calls. The politeness, not just the attorneys, the entire staff. So if you're a firm that shares the data, it's being able to know that and be able to talk how you actually talk on the phone, how your staff talks on the phone. Are they saying please hold? Are they being polite in how they talk? Managing expectations, super key. We talked a lot about cost in the last one. This is a big win, like a big finding that we always find, is that it's not about affordability. People know that good lawyers are worth a lot of money. The question around here is always about predictability of costs. And these are the things where, you do this better, and you actually improve these areas, and it always pays off. And I go back to this slide with more is better, and the way I look at it is, no spouse has ever said, man, you listen too much, right? The more you listen, the more you actually respond, the better you are as a spouse. That's the more is better things. These are things that are just the human nature. This is why Susskind's wrong. AI will not replace professionals, because these are the areas that you can actually continue to do better in. The next section is the delighters, right? These are things, little things that you can do that improve your satisfaction. This is what gets people to talk about you. And the ones that we're seeing here, long-term relationship, none of this speed dating stuff. These are people who are thinking ahead of the curve, looking around the curve, going off and telling you what needs you're going to have next year, and being proactive to talk about it. My accountant just did this for me as well. Told me to call him again in 3 months about quarterly payments and things like that, just to make sure that I wasn't screwing up. And then the on-demand mobile, being able to make sure that you're not going to the office, doing things like that. And on these delighters, the key thing here is they're currently unexpected by your clients. And that's the key thing, that they're currently unexpected. Because everyone knows that what was a delighter last year becomes expected next year. Think about your camera on your iPhone, right? Amazing, I can take pictures. Now if you can't take pictures and the light's completely off, Apple gets a bunch of hate mail. Siri, right? If it can't hear you and it can't actually tell the Mets from the Jets, you get upset. And so these are the things where the expectation gets set higher every year, and so that's why over the long haul you need to consistently benchmark your NPS to figure out new ways to promote. So I'll start with this story. I'll end with this story because I think this is the way we should end every deck. This is Hakuna Beach, a resort in Maui, or in Big Island. I was just there, and I should know that. But I was overhearing staff training because it was way better than listening to my 2-year-old kid. And the staff training, they basically said that there was a story that they tell about a husband and wife, and the husband went on a fishing trip, and they were with their adult kids. He came back from the fishing trip with this big fish. I don't know what kind of fish, but it's a big fish. And the chef went ahead and prepared it, and actually paired it with a bunch of meals, had wine pairings, had a complete service for both this family and their adult kids. Just completely went up and above the expectations, delighting the customers. That family has been there for 10 straight years. And it's not just generation 1, it's generation 2, generation 3. They all come to the same resort because of that one story. And they probably went home and told all their friends about the story. They told the fishing community about the story. That's a story that basically made the delight. Now, every customer's different, because for me, the delight was that they had a swim diaper in the pool days. So every client's different. Look for your delighters there. And with my next slide, I basically say, figure out what your delighters are and get those for each of those clients.
Well, thank you. Dan got in trouble for talking to me. I feel like I'm in school. Because he said that I neglected to say what Evolve Law is, and it's our second event here in Seattle, and I am a Washington State resident, so I feel like I'm at home. But Evolve Law is something that we started, Jules Miller and I, a couple years ago, totally informal, and we actually formalized it last year. We're a community of legal tech folks, plus Davis Wright Tremaine, and hopefully more law firms soon, plus Thomson Reuters. We're trying to accelerate the pace of adoption of legal technology and innovation in the law to actually delight customers more. Because at the end of the day, all of us, whether you're an accountant or, and I'm a recovering accountant, but whether you're an accountant or a lawyer or an engineer, you're nothing without your clients. So that's what we're all here for. We feel we're very passionate about bringing technology because you know, it was on the slide. If you have the ability to not go visit your accountant or not go visit your lawyer because you can use mobile technology, you're going to do that. And I am no millennial. I have millennials of my own, and I don't want to go see my attorney. I want to work online. So thank you so much for sharing that. I think this was a really interesting panel, and we'll probably be doing it again in different cities, but we'll be back in Seattle with another event in the fall. And please stay and enjoy the wonderful food, and thanks again to Thomson Reuters and Davis Wright Tremaine.